Welcome to the 2012-2013 Intramural Sports season. My name is Ben Smith. I'm the coordinator of Intramural Sports here at Virginia Tech. Along with me today are the two Intramural Sports graduate assistants, Morgan Fradley and Jeff Feldhaus. As captains, it is your responsibility to share all the information presented in this video with your teammates. You can actually send them the YouTube link so they can view the video on their own time. Also, under each sport on our website is the captain's information sheet. Make sure you review this prior to season play.
The Intramural Sports program follows a game time is forfeit time policy. This means that if you don't have the minimum number of players required to start your game at the assigned game time, you will not be able to play that game. We suggest that all captains inform their teammates to arrive no later than 15 minutes before game time to ensure your team will be able to play.
What's going on, guys? It's 5:30. Game time's forfeit time. Unfortunately, Maroon, you guys don't have enough players, so that means Orange, you're going to get the win.
We have the rest of our team. They're parking right now over there. You can see them walking.
I mean, my guys want to play, so we can wait for them to show up.
We can't do that. Unfortunately, if we hold back this game, it's going to hold back the rest of the games. So, Maroon, you're going to have to default. Orange, you're going to get the win. It won't count officially as a game, but you guys have the field. You can scrimmage, play around until the next game starts.
We'll just play.
Yeah, we'll just play.
As part of your team's registration fee, you paid a $20 forfeit bond. If your team plays all your regular season and playoff games without forfeiting, you will be able to request a full refund of this $20. Any team that has at least 50% of the required number of players on site at game time, but not the minimum required to start, will default that game. A default counts as a loss for that team and a win for the opposing team. During regular season, all teams are allowed one default without penalty. A second default during the regular season counts as a forfeit. A team with fewer players than required to default will forfeit their game at game time. Any team forfeiting during the regular season will have to pay a $20 forfeit bond reinstatement fee by 5 p.m. the second business day after the forfeit in order to stay in the league. For instance, a team forfeiting Monday night at 7:30 p.m. must pay the $20 forfeit bond reinstatement fee by 5 p.m. on Wednesday. This fee cannot be paid online, but must be paid in person in 142 McComas Hall. Any team that forfeits during the playoffs will be ineligible to receive a refund of their $20 forfeit bond. Any team that defaults during the playoffs will be eligible to receive only $10 of their $20 forfeit bond. Teams forfeiting or defaulting during the playoffs are eliminated from the playoffs, including the beginner playoff divisions. A team may call in a default no later than 3 p.m. on the day of their game by calling 540-231-8297. This will keep a team from having to show up to the game site with at least 50% of their team present, but will be treated as any other default. Again, the best thing you can do to ensure your team doesn't forfeit or default is tell them to be at the game site no later than 15 minutes before game time. Don't forget,
game time is forfeit time!
Once your team has arrived at the game site for your game, you and your teammates will need to check into the game with our intramural scorekeepers. These individuals are wearing bright green shirts, and there will be one station at each field of play. Your teammates can check into the game by presenting their Hokie passports to the scorekeeper and notifying him or her of your team name. No ID, no play. So make sure your teammates bring their Hokie passports. The scorekeeper will scan your teammates' Hokie passports and ask them if they agree to the assumption of risk. All intramural participants must agree to the assumption of risk before they will be allowed to participate. The assumption of risk can be found online for review at recsports.vt.edu/intramurals/policies. As captain, prior to the game ending, it is your responsibility to ask an intramural supervisor to see who has checked in for your roster that game. Intramural supervisors will be wearing navy blue polos or jackets. If you do not verify your roster prior to the end of the game, all of your team's players may not be successfully added to your roster and thus may be ineligible for future games. Again, The responsibility to verify your roster falls on you as the captain. The following individuals are eligible to participate in intramural sports: students who have paid their rec sports fee, faculty and staff, including employees with wage ID cards, CRC employees who have a Virginia Tech issued CRC ID, and individuals with a Virginia Tech issued campus ministry ID. When the scorekeeper checks your teammates into the game, our system will notify the scorekeeper immediately if an individual is not eligible. In those situations, a supervisor will be called to discuss the situation with both the individual and you as the captain. If you and the individual believe that he or she should be eligible, the supervisor can allow him or her to participate, but under the agreement that if that individual is not eligible, your team will forfeit the game and you will be required to pay the $20 forfeit bond reinstatement fee to continue in the league as per the previous discussed forfeit policy.
Individuals are allowed to play for one single-sex team. Males cannot play on women's teams, and females cannot play on men's teams. Instead, we offer a co-rect division for many of our sports. Individuals are allowed to also play for one co-rect team. You cannot have more than a +1 ratio of male to female or female to male when playing in the co-rect division. So for intramural sports where co-rect is offered, all individuals are eligible to play for 2 total teams, one in the co-rect division and one in their appropriate single-sex division. Our check-in system will catch any player trying to play for more teams in a sport than allowed. If an individual plays a single game with a team and he or she wishes to play for another team instead, he or she must do so within 7 days of playing with the first team. The scorekeeper will ask the player if he or she wishes to delete him or herself from the first team roster prior to playing with the second team. As captains, you are responsible for informing your teammates that they may only play with one team in a single-sex division and one team in a co-rect division. Team rosters are updated on a daily basis and posted online under the schedule's results link for each sport. So you can check there to ensure your teammates have not played with another team. There are no restrictions on the size of your roster. There are restrictions on the number of varsity athletes and sport club athletes that you may have competing for your intramural team. Varsity athletes are only allowed to participate in intramural sports that are not their allied varsity sport. Intramural teams are only allowed to have a certain number of varsity athletes on their roster at any one time. For this sport, that number is: a former varsity athlete is any athlete who has not been listed on the athletics roster for a minimum of 1 semester. Please note that 2 summer sessions count as 1 semester. The title of former varsity athlete stays with an individual for 5 years after last being listed on the varsity team. Former varsity athletes are allowed to participate in their allied intramural sport, but do count as part of the total number of varsity athletes on your roster. Sport club athletes are defined as anyone appearing on the recreational sports sport club rosters. Sport club athletes are only limited when participating in their allied intramural sport. For instance, an intramural soccer team can have an unlimited number of players from the sport club baseball team, but only a certain number of members from the sport club soccer teams. The maximum number of allied sport club athletes for this sport is: former or current professional athletes are defined as any athlete who was paid for playing a sport. Former and current professional athletes are ineligible to participate in their allied intramural sport. If you believe a team has ineligible players, you are able to file a protest. So next we are going to discuss our protest policies.
If you believe a player on the opposing team is ineligible, you can submit an eligibility protest. In order to make this protest, it must be done no later than this time. Any players who show up to the game after this time must be protested immediately if you believe they are ineligible. For all eligibility protests, we suggest you submit your protest as soon as possible. Once you have submitted your protest to the supervisor will discuss the situation with the opposing team captain. If the player in question is removed for the remainder of the game, no further action will be taken. If the opposing captain believes the player in question should be eligible, the supervisor will then record all pertinent game information and provide you with a protest form that you must fill out and submit along with the $10 protest fee by 12 noon the day after the game in 142 McComas Hall. The Intramural Sports Coordinator will then rule on the protest. If you are correct, you will receive your $10 back. If you are incorrect, you will lose your $10 fee. If during the game you believe the referees made a rule misapplication, you can protest that rule misapplication prior to the next live ball. Ask the referee to stop the game and notify him or her that you wish to protest a rule misapplication. The referee will then get the supervisor to come to the field to rule on your protest. After hearing your account of the rule misapplication, the supervisor will discuss the situation with all referees involved and then make a final ruling. If you still disagree with the ruling, you need to inform the supervisor that you wish to make a formal protest. The supervisor will then provide you with the formal protest form, as described previously, and you will have until 12 noon the day after the game to submit your protest form in 142 McComas Hall along with your $10 protest fee. Referee judgment, such as whether a ball was in or out of bounds, is not a rule misapplication and therefore not protestable. Again, if you are correct about your protest, you will receive your $10 back. If you are incorrect, you will lose the $10 protest fee.
At Virginia Tech, we try to live by the principles of community, and part of that is our dedication to improving the sportsmanship of our participants. Our motto is play hard, play fair, respect the game. Prior to each game, the referees will ask one member from a team to read out loud the intramural sportsmanship statement. As the captain, you will be given the opportunity at the end of the game to rate the sportsmanship level of the team you are playing on a 1 to 5 scale. The officials, scorekeeper, and supervisor of the game will also rate each team's sportsmanship to get an overall average sportsmanship rating for each team. Here's some more detailed information concerning each level of the scale. During the regular season, your team must maintain at least a 3.0 sportsmanship average to advance to the playoffs. Once the playoffs begin, you will be required to maintain a 3.0 sportsmanship average every single game in order to continue to advance. In order to encourage good sportsmanship by individuals, we have developed the I Am Nice shirt. Our supervisors will give these shirts out to participants who display acts of exceptional sportsmanship. In order to encourage good sportsmanship by all teams, we have the weekly sportsmanship award sponsored by Domino's Pizza. All teams receiving a perfect 5.0 sportsmanship rating for their game will be put into a weekly drawing within each sport. We will pull one team from that drawing and the entire team will receive free Domino's Pizza. So remember, play hard, play fair, respect the game. If a player on your team gets ejected from any intramural event, they will be ineligible to use McComas Hall or participate in any intramural event until they have had a meeting with an intramural sports graduate assistant. After meeting with the graduate assistant, the ejected individual will be eligible to use McComas Hall again, but will be ineligible to participate in intramurals until serving any suspension handed out by the graduate assistant. There are no self-imposed punishments. Any player who participates without serving their suspension after being ejected will be considered an ineligible player and will cause your team to forfeit any and all games he or she participates in and be subject to the previously discussed forfeit policies.
On the Thursday following the end of registration, teams that have been scheduled into the league will receive their regular season schedule. If the team is satisfied with its scheduled times, it does not have to do anything but show up to the game site 15 minutes before its scheduled game times. If a team needs to make a change to its schedule, be aware that we do not change individual games, but entire schedules. For example, if you are scheduled to play on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m., and your team has a conflict with the second Thursday game, we do not change just that game, but would change all of your game times. Teams needing to make a change have until 8 a.m. on Friday after receiving their schedule to submit the scheduled change request form located on the IM Sports Captain Scholar site. Teams will not be able to request a change after 8 a.m. on Friday and will be required to play as scheduled. Please note that we can only make a schedule change if we have requests from multiple teams within a division and if the requests of the teams can be matched. After regular season games are complete, all teams will be eligible to participate in the playoffs as long as they have not forfeited out of the league without paying the forfeit bond reinstatement fee, and as long as they have maintained the 3.0 average sportsmanship rating across all regular season games. Most intramural sports will have advanced and beginner playoff levels. The champion of the advanced playoffs will receive the current year's intramural champion t-shirt. The champion of the beginner playoffs will receive an intramural sports t-shirt. For 9-on-9 soccer, flag football, volleyball, 5-on-5 basketball, intertube water polo, and softball, we will also have an intermediate playoff level. In those sports, the champion of the intermediate playoff level will receive an intramural sports t-shirt, and the beginner level playoffs will be split into groups of 4 where teams will get the opportunity to play 2 games as long as they don't forfeit or default. In those sports, there are no t-shirts awarded for the beginner playoffs. Although there are no limits on roster size, there are limits on the number of champion t-shirts that will be awarded. For this sport, that number is: teams will be placed into the playoff levels based on their record during the regular season. Teams will have an option of filling out a playoff conflict sheet prior to the scheduling of playoffs to notify the intramural sports program of days and times they have conflicts. On these conflict sheets, teams will also be able to request placement into the advanced or beginner level playoffs. Requests for the intermediate level playoffs will not be accepted. All requests for the advanced playoffs will be honored. All requests for the beginner playoffs may not be honored. Please note that we do not use your original conflicts submitted when registering the team. You must submit a playoff conflict sheet or be ready to play whenever scheduled. Playoff brackets will be updated every business day and posted online by 1 p.m. As playoffs progress, teams should be prepared to play back-to-back days, and possibly multiple games in a single night. No times will be given out over the phone, as all times will be available for viewing online. In situations where 2 teams are set to play in the playoffs, but a time cannot be found that fits both teams, teams may have to play during a time originally submitted as a conflict in order to advance in the playoffs.
The game of flag football is played between 2 teams of 7 players each. Co-rect games are played with 2 teams of 8 players, 4 men and 4 women. Co-rect rules will be covered later in the DVD. All players, non-players, and spectators affiliated with the team are subject to the rules of the game. Flag football is played on a field 100 yards long and 40 yards wide. It is divided into 4 20-yard zones with 2 10-yard end zones. 2 inbounds lines divide the field. The offensive scrimmage line is marked with an orange ball spotter. The defensive scrimmage line is marked with a gold ball spotter placed 1 yard away. The area between the 2 lines is the neutral zone. Every play in flag football starts with a legal snap made on or between the inbounds lines. The ball is snapped on the 14-yard line to start the first and third periods. The offensive team has 4 downs to advance the ball to the next zone.
First down.
A player is out of bounds when any part of him or her touches anything other than another player or game official which is on or outside the sideline or end line. The ball is out of bounds when it touches anything out of bounds. All men's teams use a regular size ball. All women's and co-rect teams may use a regular, intermediate, youth, or junior size football. Offensive and defensive teams must wear contrasting colored jerseys, numbered on the front or rear without pockets. Jerseys must be tucked in or 4 inches above the waist. Flag belts should be one piece without any knots and be worn on the waist with 3 flags permanently attached. 2 flags should be positioned so that they fall to the side while the other flag falls on the back. The quick-release, spring-loaded clip must be in the front. Players may wear a knit or stocking cap without a bill. A soft playbook may be carried by a player inside his or her clothing as long as it is not visible.
Quarterback, put the playbook out of sight. Put it out of sight.
Players may also wear non-rigid sunglasses. Equipment that provides a competitive advantage or is a safety hazard is illegal. Players wearing this equipment are not permitted to play.
We have a problem here. Your cleat here has a metal tip. Therefore, these are illegal. You're going to have to get these changed before the game starts. All right?
Okay. Some examples of illegal equipment are jewelry, including rubber bracelets and rope necklaces, shoes with metal or ceramic cleats, jerseys not tucked in or those with an arm opening more than 4 inches below the armpits, shorts with any belt, belt loops, pockets or exposed drawstrings, and leg or knee braces made of hard, unyielding material.
Second down, 40-yard line of the game.
After the ready for play signal, all offensive players must momentarily be within 15 yards of where the ball is snapped. Players may be in a 4, 3, or 2-point stance. In both men's and women's games, at least 4 players are required on the offensive scrimmage line when the ball is snapped. A player in motion is not considered to be on the scrimmage line. After the snapper puts his or her hands on the ball, it is encroachment for any player to break the plane of the scrimmage line, except for the snapper's right to be over the ball. When defensive players encroach the neutral zone, the ball is dead.
Encroachment.
Offensive players commit a false start if they move downfield prior to the ball being snapped, or if they fake the start of a play through a quick or sudden movement. As part of a play, offensive players will often shift or go in motion before the snap. All offensive players may shift prior to the snap with the exception of the snapper. In order for the shift to be legal, all players must come to a complete stop for at least 1 full second before the snap. If all players are set, only 1 player may legally go in motion. This player may not move towards the opponent's goal line. A legal snap requires the snapper to pass the ball back from the ground with a quick or continuous motion of the hand or hands. The ball may be snapped between the snapper's legs or to the outside of the snapper's legs. If the snap hits the ground, the ball is dead at that spot. Any player receiving the snap must be at least 2 yards from the offensive team's scrimmage line.
2 yards.
Direct snaps from center are illegal. After assuming position for the snap and adjusting the ball, the snapper may not move the ball, change position of the ball, or simulate the start of the snap.
This play is open.
Between downs, any number of eligible substitutes may replace players, provided the substitution is complete before the ball becomes live. Both backward and forward passes are legal.
Back! Ball's away!
However, a runner may not throw the ball backward out of bounds to intentionally conserve time.
Back!
Legal forward passes must be thrown from behind the offensive scrimmage line. All players on the offensive team are eligible receivers.
Balls away.
Only one forward pass may be thrown per down. A forward pass thrown from beyond the offensive scrimmage line is an illegal pass. When a passer is attempting to throw the ball and is deflagged before releasing the ball, he or she is down at that spot. If the ball has been released prior to the passer being deflagged, the ball is live. Officials must remember that when in doubt, the ball has been released. When rushing the passer, opponents must make a definitive effort to avoid contact with the passer. Unlike tackle football, defensive players do not get any reasonable allowances to make contact, even after the ball has just been released. If the ball is tipped by the defensive player, contact must still be avoided. A legal catch has been made if the receiver maintains possession of the ball with 1 foot in bounds. If a receiver has control of the ball with 1 foot in bounds, it is a legal catch even if a second step is out of bounds. A catch is legal if the receiver is kneeling or prone as long as he or she is in bounds. This is also true for a defensive player on an interception. A simultaneous catch occurs when both an offensive and defensive player have joint possession of a live ball in bounds. The ball becomes dead and is awarded to the offense. If a player goes out of bounds, returns in bounds, and makes a catch, it is illegal participation. Batting a ball is intentionally slapping, striking, or redirecting the ball with the hand or arm. One of the most challenging judgment calls for officials is pass interference. Any contact that interferes with the receiver's attempt to catch the ball is pass interference. If an opponent hinders a receiver's vision without making an attempt to catch, intercept, or bat a ball, it is pass interference. This can occur even if no contact is made. Pass interference occurs when a defensive player deflags a receiver prior to the ball being touched. When 2 or more eligible receivers make a simultaneous and bona fide attempt to reach, bat, or catch a pass, it is not pass interference. After the ball is snapped, and until the pass has been touched by an offensive player, there shall be no offensive pass interference beyond the offensive scrimmage line. Screen blocking is used by the offense to prevent the opponent from getting to an advantageous spot on the field. Contact during a screen block may or may not be legal. The use of screen blocking is common in flag football. The legal screen greatly reduces the potential for injury. Screen blockers must have their hands to their sides or behind their back. Any use of the hands, arms, or elbows during a screen block is illegal. It is also illegal for a screen blocker to use their legs against an opponent. An opponent must go around the offensive player in order to avoid contact. If the opponent charges into an offensive player who has established position during a screen block, it is illegal contact. Players advance the ball by running until they are deflagged.
First down!
The forward progress of a runner is the location of the ball where the flag belt is pulled and the clip is detached. Runners will typically run with the ball extended in front of them to advance the ball. If a player's flag belt accidentally falls off, a one-hand tag by an opponent will cause the play to become dead. This one-hand tag must be made between the shoulders and knees. When a runner fumbles, the ball becomes dead at the spot where it hits the ground. In order to avoid being deflagged, a runner may spin to avoid a deflag or dive to advance the ball.
First down.
An opponent may also dive in an attempt to pull a flag or tag a runner. A runner may not hurdle an opponent. A runner may not extend the arm in an attempt to stiff arm an opponent. Charge into an opponent who is in position to pull a flag, or guard the flag belt. Flag guarding is an act of using the hands, arms, or the ball to prevent deflagging. Flag guarding includes, but is not limited to, placing or swinging the hand or arm over the flag belt, placing the ball over the flag belt, lowering the shoulders to position the arm over the flag belt. An opponent may not hold or push the runner in an attempt to deflag. An opponent may not strip the ball from the runner when it is in player possession. Players may hand the ball forward or backward anywhere on the field. An inadvertent whistle occurs when an official erroneously causes a play to become dead. To avoid this, officials should keep the whistle out of their mouth. When one does occur, the offensive team will have the option of replaying the down. If the ball is in flight at the time of the whistle on a passing or kicking play, the down will be replayed. If the ball is in player possession when the whistle occurs, the offensive team will also have an option of having the down count and taking possession of the ball where it was when the whistle was sounded. When a foul occurs during a play where there was an inadvertent whistle and it is accepted, the whistle is ignored and the penalty is enforced. On fourth down, the referee must ask a captain if he or she wants to punt.
Fourth, offense will punt.
The referee then must announce this decision to both teams and all officials.
Line set.
Neither the kicking nor receiving team may advance beyond their scrimmage lines until the ball is punted. After the snap, the kicker must punt the ball immediately in a continuous motion. When a punt crosses the scrimmage line, then touches a player from either team and hits the ground, it is dead at that spot and belongs to the receiving team. A touchdown is scored when the ball in player possession penetrates the goal line plane. The player scoring a touchdown must raise his or her arm so the nearest official can deflag the player. Tampering with the flag belt, such as tying it, is a personal foul which results in player disqualification. After the touchdown, the scoring team may elect to go for 1 point from the 3-yard line, 2 points from the 10-yard line, or 3 points from the 20-yard line. A safety occurs when a runner is deflagged in his or her end zone,
Safety.
or the snap hits the ground in the end zone. The exception to this rule is the intercepting momentum rule. When a defensive player intercepts the ball inside their own 5-yard line and carries it into their own end zone, the ball belongs to the defensive team at the spot of the interception. If a player intercepts the ball in their own end zone, it is legal for them to advance the ball out of their end zone. A pass intercepted and downed in their end zone is a touchback. A touchback results when a receiver or kicker downs a punt that touches anything while the ball is on or behind the receiver's goal line. Maintaining proper sportsmanship levels is one of the key aspects of officiating a game. Taunting is an act intended to embarrass an opponent. These types of actions are unsportsmanlike and must be penalized. Addressing officials in a disrespectful manner is illegal. At the end of this play, the defender throws a flag belt at the line judge. This is unsportsmanlike conduct. Examples of unsportsmanlike conduct include intentionally kicking the ball other than a punt, spiking the ball or excessively celebrating, objecting to an official's decision, using profanity, vulgar language, or gestures, fighting, including threatening or attempting to fight or entering the field during a fight.
Blue team captain.
Captains are responsible for the conduct of players, non-players, and spectators. Officials should ask the captain to assist them with their players to prevent unsportsmanlike behavior.
I need your help.
A second unsportsmanlike conduct foul by the same player is disqualification. All rules previously shown apply to the Co-rect game, except for the following modifications. Co-rect games can be played with 8 players, 4 men and 4 women. A minimum of 5 players must be on the scrimmage line at the snap. In co-rect play, if a female scores a touchdown or throws a legal forward pass for a touchdown, they score 9 points. A new series begins with an open play, a legal forward pass that involves either a female passer or female receiver for positive yards will open the play.
Third down. Line to gain is the 20. This play is open.
A legal forward pass completed from a male passer to a male receiver will close the play.
First and goal. This play is closed.
During the offensive team's possession, there may not be 2 consecutive legal forward pass completions from a male passer to a male receiver. This is an illegal forward pass. A legal forward pass caught jointly by male and female teammates is considered to be a female reception. Before each down, all officials need to communicate to each other whether the play is open or closed. A male cannot advance the ball beyond the scrimmage line. It is illegal advancement. Whether a try is open or closed depends on what occurred during the touchdown.
Intramural flag football games will be played at the South Recreation Area fields behind the tennis center. Please make sure you park in designated spots only. Practice balls and flag belts will be available for checkout from the scorekeeper on site using your Hokie passport. All games must be played using an intramural sports game ball. Teams are required to show up to the fields with their own jerseys. All teams are required to have a white jersey and a jersey of some other color, and all jerseys must be numbered from 0 to 99. T-shirts with markered numbers are fine, but taping is not allowed. Intramural Sports will not provide jerseys or pennies for checkout. Any team who does not have the required jerseys will be subject to forfeiture of the game. In the event where the home and visitor desire to wear the same color for the game, the home team must change to their other color. Players are not allowed to wear pants or shorts that have pockets or any opening that a finger could get caught in when reaching for the flag. Jackets, sweatshirts, or hoodies with a front pocket must be worn under the team jersey to ensure the pockets are concealed. Taping over pockets is not allowed. No metal cleats are allowed. All jewelry must be removed prior to play, with the only exception being medical alert bracelets, which must be shown to the intramural supervisor and then taped over. We do not provide tape or markers for numbering jerseys. In case of inclement weather, call 540-231-6060 to check the Intramural Sports Hotline. This hotline will be updated after 4 p.m. each day. In situations where games start on a night and inclement weather comes, the supervisor on duty will make all decisions concerning game status and will update the hotline if he or she has to cancel games. Games canceled due to inclement weather during the regular season will not be rescheduled. At the end of each game, the team captain will nominate one person from the other team as that team's MVP for the game. At the end of the season, we will select one individual for each division, men's, women's, and co-rec, as the MVP for that division for that sport. That individual will be recognized at the end of the year award ceremony to be held at this time. We will also select one team per sport as the sportsmanship winner of that sport. Throughout the year, teams can earn points toward the Hokie Grail by filling in their Hokie Grail team information during registration. Throughout the year, Intramural Sports will send out surveys to participants to get feedback for our top 10 team names. Both the Hokie Grail winners and top 10 team name winners will be recognized at the awards ceremony. Captains who watch this video and complete the online test with a perfect score by 5 p.m. on the Monday after registration closes will be scheduled into the league based on when their complete registration was submitted. These teams will receive their schedule via email by 12 noon on the Thursday after registration closes. They will have until Friday at 8 a.m. to submit a schedule change request. Instructions will be outlined in the email containing the schedule on how to make that request. After Friday at 8 a.m., teams will not be able to request a schedule change. Any team whose captain does not watch the video and complete the online test with a perfect score by 5 p.m. on the Monday after registration closes will not be scheduled into the league and will be placed at the bottom of the waiting list. They will then have until Thursday at 12 noon to do one of two things. First, watch the video and complete the online test with a perfect score, or second, fill out the required refund request form online to receive a full refund of their registration fee. Teams that take the first option, watch the video, and complete the online test with a perfect score by Thursday at 12 noon will be placed on the waiting list in the order that they successfully complete the online test. If there are still spots available in the league, they will then be scheduled into the league. If there are no spots available in the league, they will remain on the waiting list. If no spots then become available during regular season, the team will be eligible to request a full refund of their registration fee. Here are the important dates that you will need to know for this sports season. We suggest you review the captain's information sheet for this sport as posted online. Also, our overall program policy manual, as well as new policies for this year, can be found here. If you have any questions or problems, you can email us at imsports@vt.edu or call 540-231-8297 and ask for Ben, Jeff, or Morgan. Please be aware that sometimes emails from imsports@vt.edu will go to your junk email folder, so check it on a daily basis. Champion, in conjunction with NERSA, is once again sponsoring our Intramural Flag Football League. Champion will provide to the first 15 teams that sign up customized double-dry performance shirts. They will also provide championship shirts to the champions of our leagues. The shirts will be available in 4 colors: red, black, royal, and navy. Your team name will be printed with a 12-character maximum. Champion will be on the front with the team name and number on the back. 15 shirts is the maximum you can receive per team, and they will be numbered 1 through 15. To order these shirts, you will receive an email once you have completed the captain's quiz with a perfect score, giving you instructions for how to place your order. Once the order is submitted, no changes can be made. Make sure you enter a valid UPS address. No P.O. boxes. Teams receiving these shirts are asked to wear the champion t-shirts during your games and represent champion in a positive manner by displaying outstanding sportsmanship. NERSA is sponsoring regional flag football tournaments once again this year. This is an opportunity for you to compete against the best flag football teams in our region. Regional winners receive a travel stipend and automatic entry to the national championships to be held January 4th through 6th at the University of Central Florida. For more information, go to www.nersa.org/flagfootball. Thank you. Have a great season, and don't forget,
Play hard.
Play fair.
Respect the game.